Well, let's check in with the Economic Cycle Research Institute, which is best known for its ability to predict economic turning points before other conventional indices. In fact, we had the ECRI predicting a mid-year downturn 6 months ago, and we have its managing director, Lakshman Achuthan, joining us from our New York studios. So, Lakshman, it looks like the conference board stealing all the thunder today, but your institution, the ECRI, actually predicted a downturn for China months ago.
Yeah, it's a real testament to how jittery I think investors are, that they just put full faith into an index that has zero track record. The Conference Board Index was just introduced. It's never been kind of time tested, and we've had indexes for a very long time. Unfortunately, our outlook is directionally the same. We see a downturn in not only the Chinese economic growth, but also global economic growth. Pretty much all around the world, you've got decelerating or throttling back from the recovery that's been going on since last year. And there's some important nuances. You know, one leading index can't capture what's going on in an economy. It's just not that simple. I mean, we all wish it were, but life is not that simple. We have to have multiple leading indexes to get to the nuances of what's going on. In China, we have four leading indexes. The leading exports growth index, what's the future of exports growth look like for China? That's the weakest of the lot. That one has really fallen quite sharply. Right behind that, we have the leading index of Chinese industrial production growth. And that, too, has taken a very noticeable material move to the downside. The broader...
This is about moderating growth, though, because we've seen the stock markets react, looking like we might be seeing a collapse in China, which is not the case here.
No, absolutely. And the broader long leading index for China, there it's showing only moderate, a more moderate deceleration in growth. So this is telling you that all of the action, the more dramatic slowdown, will be specifically in the industrial sector, specifically with the industrial stuff that is getting exported. Finally, the Chinese leading home price index, there's a lot of concern everywhere about a bubble in Chinese real estate. And we have a piece of the puzzle in the sights of our leading indexes. The leading home price index in China, the growth rate is easing, but the level is continuing to go up. So there is no bubble bursting in Chinese residential real estate.
Yeah, in fact, I think in the ECRI's global cyclical outlook, Asia, in fact, is the strongest globally right now.
Yeah, and as a result, they're actually, the world has a real mixed bag, and cyclically, Asian policymakers outside of Japan are dealing with inflationary pressures and trying to figure out how much they should tap on the brakes. And I'm kind of hoping they don't tap on the brakes too much, because we do have a real global downturn in the industrial sector, which is starting right here and right now. In Europe, the growth of the cyclical downturn is occurring, but they never really got a lot of altitude. And so they're declining from very low altitude. In the U.S., we also have a downturn, and you see a lot of concern about that here, questions about a double dip. We know that a slowdown is imminent.
Let me ask you about that, Lakshman. Yep. That's right. People are using the ECRI's numbers earlier in the year to say that there is a double dip recession on the way.
Yeah, and on this one, it's premature. We don't do this by the seat of our pants. We don't do this based on one leading index like the weekly leading index, as good as it is. The objective, disciplined approach, which has given us a stellar recession forecasting track record, real-time track record, is to look at a broad array, dozens of leading indexes. Our long leading index for the U.S. has not had a pronounced downturn. Our leading services indexes, manufacturing, construction, have started to ease, but they're not collapsing. The leading employment index is pointing to actually stronger, better jobs numbers from the private sector in coming months. So we have not seen the best in terms of jobs growth from the private sector yet. And so this says slowdown, absolutely. That's imminent. It's inevitable. However, a new recession, it's premature to make that conclusion off of any one index.
Lakshman, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that. That's Lakshman Achuthan of the Economic Cycle Research Institute.